Welcome to the Life Chat Podcast, seeking the truth with Derek Powell, navigating you through. Every Wednesday night, new topics ignite. Join the journey, let's take flight. Bringing insights that change our view. Derek's voice, clear and true. Tune in each week, discover new light. Life Chat Podcast, reach a new height.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the Life Chat Podcast. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining me this evening. And first of all, I just wanted to start off by saying that I just came inside from outside a few minutes ago, and the little drizzle that's going on outside. I wasn't expecting it, but I still had to go outside and smoke my little cigar. But other than that, it's still a beautiful day because we made it through another one. Tonight we're going to start off with our topic. The topic being sober vulnerability, with a guest contributor for the night, I keep saying Sabitri, but it's actually
Sabitri.
Miss Sabitri Baker. I never heard that name in my life, but it's unique to me. So here I introduce Miss Sabitri Baker. Can you give us a little description of who you are first, of who you are, what you do?
Definitely, family. I hope everyone's doing well out there tonight. I have a very complex and interesting history. I have 5 bachelor's degrees, 2 master's. I've had 2 nonprofits, a private integrative holistic practice, and that did very well. And worked in the OR as a transplant RN. Had a lot of medical training, a lot of psychological training, working with others. And then I got hit with the battle of addiction and alcohol, and I had to battle that through the years. And I fought with it because I thought I knew it all. Mm-hmm. Until I really got to the grips and fell apart. And everybody has their own rock bottom. But my rock bottom really hit me when I lost my husband last year. It was the worst thing ever. It took me going into rehab and having a lot of therapy. And it just didn't involve talk therapy. It involved medication addressing mental health. It involved giving the 12-step a chance, something I was always against. But I gave it a chance, and I'm sober and happy, and I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And it's all because I became vulnerable. And it's hard for us to do that when we're in addiction. We think we know it all. We want to put our guard up. And we want to face the problems ourselves. And that's where we run into trouble, doing things our way. And there's so many of us who do that. And then when we do hit rock bottom, we're in crisis mode, and we think we're alone. And that's a battle and it's a challenge that we're facing today.
I want to know, when you said the sober vulnerability, you came up with the topic, but I wanted to know why did, and it just rolled off so easily. So what does sober vulnerability mean to you as you're in your own words, like a personal definition? And why is it so important? Why do you feel as though it's so important in recovery? I know why it's important to me in my personal recovery, but I want to hear you elaborate on why it's important to you.
Why it became important to me is because when I was hit with challenges and I fell and no one was around, I had to start climbing out. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to be the boss. I wanted to dictate my care plan, and I kept failing. It didn't work my way. And I'm telling you, I thought because, I'm a white-collar drug user or alcoholic, I can solve this on my own. But it wasn't until I had to step outside, look at myself objectively, and say, what is going on here? First, we need to get sober. Then we have to design a plan of how we're going to stay sober. So I had to get teachable. And to do that, I had to get vulnerable. And to get vulnerable was not easy for me because I fought every bit of the way. And I had to sit back, become a patient, not be the provider. And I had to learn to heal. And by healing, I had to open up and start being honest. And I had to tell my story and tell my part of it. When my husband was pancreatic cancer last year, and I was his caretaker, and I was working and everything, I knew the coping mechanism, but they became ineffective. And I did start drinking. And it wasn't like I was drinking alcohol. I was drinking Listerine because I had
Mm.
no one helping me. I took on all the burden by myself and I begged for help and I had to manage somehow. So, coming down to the end, of course, you have people coming out of the woodwork, it's family, the church, coming out of the woodwork, attacking because they thought I was at my lowest. I almost lost everything. When my husband was on 6 different pain medicines, they had him sign over medical power of attorney. They tried to make him sign his pension and life insurance over. And instead of sitting in a corner, I became vulnerable. I admitted what I was doing. I got the strength while drinking to overturn everything on my own without an attorney. And I look back and say, how did I do that? Because I was connecting to what the real issue was. I was facing it. I was reaching out. Um, it's been a long road. It's been a very long road. And when you have to sit there and say you love alcohol so much more than you love a person or your
Mm.
children, that's when it really made the stomach turn and you realize you have to make a difference. And you can't keep saying you're sorry. You have to show by the actions, you
Exactly.
know? And, people think, oh, you get out of rehab or you become sober, you want to do this, want to do that. No, honey, it's one step at a time. And obstacles coming your way. And it's how you deal with them. You can't give up. I mean, responsibility is one thing I took. What was my responsibility in this? Instead of blaming everyone else, what was my responsibility? This alcoholism was there before he got sick. And I was clean for many years, but I also used, since my first marriage. And I started using in my 20s. That was a very abusive marriage. And with verbal and physical abuse, and my way of coping was the alcohol. I wasn't vulnerable. I was working, taking care of the kids, trying to have the perfect family. When I had the two nonprofits, Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, at Baltimore County and at Talbot County, did support groups. So we attacked the mental health with the substance abuse together. And I
Right.
had to become vulnerable with holding those groups. I couldn't just sit there and tell them what to do. I had to tell them I walked in their shoes. I've had those lonely nights. I've had those, wake up 4 o'clock in the morning looking for a bottle, looking for something. And it's a cycle. It goes over and over and over. And my rock bottom was, last year, it came to a point where I was thinking, I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't walk. And I got scared, you know. I treated
Yeah.
myself. After 4 days, I got up. I was okay. And I went back to drinking.
I had a question. You said you couldn't work and you couldn't. I mean, you couldn't walk. You couldn't feel your legs, and this was all due to
The
substance
Listerine
to the
alcohol
addiction.
intake. Mm-hmm.
I never heard that. I never heard that from anybody. So, but is that normal in alcohol addiction?
It can
I mean,
be
I
normal.
drink. I'm an alcoholic as well, but I never heard that.
Yeah, it's where your bones actually start pushing toxins out into your bloodstream. It's poisoning. And sometimes it's irreversible. I've met people that have had to have a walker for like 6 months to regain how to walk. Some people never regain how to walk. And when I got into that situation, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go through the legacy my husband left. I'm going to end up a cripple in a nursing home and no one's going to care for me. But I'll tell you what did it, Derek. Not just treating myself, but when I said, I'm very spiritual. And when I said I surrender, something happened. Something happened magical. And spirituality is a big part of my journey.
You know,
It's there and I can't omit it. It's something wonderful and gracious and it makes me feel safe and happy. And sometimes, like today I went through some struggles and I had to deal with some things, but I had to overcome them and stand up and say, this is what I'm doing. I help people. I have to remain vulnerable. Some people may say negative things about me. Some people may say positive things, but it's all a part of learning and
that's all a part of
teaching.
life. That's all
It's
a
a
part of
part
life.
of life, and I
No
welcome
matter
it.
what we do, no matter what we do, there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to be a naysayer. There's going to be all types of people. But as long as you're comfortable in what you're doing and you know what you're doing for the right reasons, that you feel are
Yeah,
the
and
right
when
reasons.
when you're healing, right? You're healing. So I'm journaling, and I go back over and read these journals, and it's like facing your struggles. What were my struggles? You can't avoid them because it's a part of life. And this year here, I'm facing I went through the anniversary. I went through his first year of death, and yesterday was his birthday. And I faced it all sober because last year this time I was drunk. I was out of it. So the healing, it's like I had to walk through it. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? Am I just going to medicate it? Am I going to go back to drinking? Nope. But being positive, look at it in perspective. You have to just open yourself wide up and say, here I am, I'm raw, and start from the bottom up. And real honesty. You have to really face honesty with yourself. You can't
Every
BS
day.
it, you
Every day.
know? And that's where the challenge comes in. I didn't start opening up with my personal story until I was at an AA meeting, home group, and they asked me to speak. Because I would just go and, be shy and watch everybody else. And once I spoke, it just opened the floodgates. It was like I felt so much better. I'm like, I'm not hiding anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not shy. I know my part. But, people are around you when they want to gain things from you, when you can give to them. But when you're down and out, you got to count the ones that are there. And I can probably count them on one hand. Who's the one that wiped the tears? Who's the one that got you in rehab? Who's the one that stood by you? Who's the one that sent that pack of cigarettes for you when you wanted to smoke?
Yeah.
you know,
It's always
so
and then just to have people in your corner, people that are on your side that may not even know the full extent of the situation, but they're there because of the person that they love, the person that they care about, which is you or me or whoever else, whoever the person is. Just to have somebody there that's supportive is a
yes,
huge part of the recovery process. And it's always been said that
yes,
we can't do it alone, and we definitely can't do it alone because left to our own devices, we'll concoct some
yes.
type of scheme, and we'll have a
Hmm.
scheme. We'll have the plan put together, and we'll also have the plan A. We'll have plan B, and then we'll have everything else around it, and we'll act on it, and there we go again, back in the same situation because we thought
Exactly.
we had our own ideas, our own game plan, which has never worked before. So what makes it
Oh
work
no.
this time? So
Oh
yeah,
no. Personally, last year, my mother, she was very supportive with my sister and both my daughters, especially the young one. They tried to get me into the hospital, EP me like 9 times. I just checked myself out until finally they had to really sit me down and say, "This is where you're going, Mom. This is what you're doing." And if I didn't have the support of them, I don't know what I would do because a lot of people
they
don't have that. You
they took you
know,
kicking and screaming. It took you kicking and
they took
screaming
me
to
kicking
the
and screaming. Yes, my daughter Miranda tells me they resuscitated me a couple of times. I'm like, I must have been really bad. I remember her coming over to the house trying to feed me and dress me, and I was down to size zero, and
Can you
it
imagine
wasn't.
trying?
I couldn't
Can you
walk.
imagine all that? Can you imagine being in that situation with nobody around? With
I
nobody
know.
around that was, I mean, that's a reality for some people. They have no support.
Yeah.
They have nobody that's around them and have to go through this struggle. But
Yes.
I also want to touch on one other thing. With the topic, just being what the topic is, sober vulnerability. The word vulnerability is a huge word, right? I mean, not as far as
Yes.
the letters, not as far as the letters, but
Hmm.
just in the recovery process, but in just everyday life for anybody, uh, addict,
Yes.
recovering addict, or otherwise. But I know for me personally, vulnerability for me being a big issue, meaning that I just had to be vulnerable and allow somebody else or other people to be a part of my life, which
Yes.
people that are going to be beneficial in my life. And that was difficult, really difficult for me because I'm an introvert by nature. I don't know. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it don't. But I'd rather be in a room by myself. Just leave me in a room by
Yes.
myself and I'm okay. You put me around a whole bunch of people and now I'm kind of awkward. But just being
Yes.
able to have somebody on your side or be able to verbalize things to people or talk to people about different situations and let somebody else guide you in a direction. That to me, that's what
Yes.
vulnerability is: opening up and discussing what the feelings and emotions are, and giving somebody else the opportunity to kind of lead you or guide you from their perspective.
Yes. And
Um,
sometimes it's not always a pink cloud. You're gonna have
it's
to
not.
face your struggles, build new relationships, new networks. I isolated. That was my thing. I isolated. But then when I became vulnerable, I saw the network coming in and the outpouring of love. And that wasn't until I went into treatment at Avenues. And they really helped me, for those 60 days. It really turned me around. And they're just
Avenues.
wonderful. Avenues rocks. And yeah, I was there a couple of weeks ago speaking. It was lovely. I'm going back this month. Love the facilitators there. Love Holly. I love the way we still stay in contact. But they showed me it's okay. And Kristen, we did some letters and we burned them and we broke some
Yes.
plates and it allowed me to be free and they treated me like an equal. I wasn't below anyone and it really humbled me and it's making me shine again because for a little bit I became a hermit, introvert, didn't want to say anything, didn't want to share. I just thought about, okay, I'm going to get back out, go back to my house and isolate again. I would just do FaceTime with my kids and my mom, and I would say, oh, I'm fine because everything's taken care of. The way my husband left everything, it was well taken care of. But when things happened, the church in Baltimore turned their back on me because no money for them. His parents, the stepfather and his mother, I mean, they tried to stop me from seeing him. They didn't want me at the funeral. And it was hard. It was really hard because I had a video of what my husband wanted. So it wasn't just his death, but it was dealing with people and different characters at that vulnerable time. And I was absorbing everything from every direction. And I needed guidance. And I'll tell you, my daughter Miranda, she stepped up and she grabbed me and it's ironic because 6 years ago I saved her and brought her down to the Eastern Shore. And now she's saving me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, wow, I never thought.
I saw a couple of posts that you posted and uh like the praises that you were giving Miranda, which I don't know who Miranda is,
My
but
daughter, my youngest
I
daughter.
didn't know until you mentioned that earlier. But the praises that you gave Miranda, and I saw something that she responded. I forgot how she responded, but that's neither here nor there. But just the way that the communication was there on Facebook. Um, was like, yeah, you got somebody, like I said earlier, you got somebody that's on your side, somebody that you
Oh,
love,
yeah.
somebody that's loving you, and somebody that's going through the struggle, going through the process with you. And we talked about it earlier about having people in your corner. Now,
Yes.
being with the sober vulnerability, do you personally believe that there's a difference in sober vulnerability and just basic everyday vulnerability? Is there a difference?
Yes, I
And if
do.
so,
Yes, I
what
do.
would that be?
Because I think we have to be open about our feelings and our experiences. Because a lot of people honestly can't go through what we did and still stand up or stay alive. Because they would fall apart. They would fall apart when they reflect on it. But
Why would you
with
say
being
that?
sober,
Well,
I think the shame that comes in, the shame that comes in with the vulnerability, and the guilt that comes in.
okay,
And they
okay.
can't handle it because they have to have the status of the norm of the material world. They want to have that outside perception. They're too scared that people see that they're human, make mistakes. They're always trying to be. I mean, I'm an overachiever, and I'm opening up saying, you know what? I really fell. I was putting times out there hypocrite, being drunk and practicing, And I don't plan on going back to that. I'm doing the public speaking now and helping people in other ways. Just because I choose to at this time, the words and being open. And I thought my story was lame. But when I opened up and really told, people were coming out and saying, oh my God, it helped. A lot of medical professionals were coming out because they were scared of what happened to their license. But we have to face that and take the consequences sometimes.
Yeah, that's a reality of life. And now that's like,
Mm-hmm.
when we come out as addicts, let me rephrase, as recovering addicts. um so many people will go through the same situation now that we wouldn't even expect. People that we wouldn't expect that are going through the same situation, they just don't know how to express it, or they're afraid to be vulnerable. Like you said, they don't want other people to know how they're feeling or what they're going through, or the things they have to deal with on a daily basis.
And you have to
But
be ready when you're vulnerable with your feelings. Some people are going to walk away.
yeah.
They're not going to be there for you. So you have to be prepared for that too. I've experienced that. People that I thought was going to be there for me were not.
And it's that's and some a lot of times that's a plus, that's a benefit because
It
if they're
is.
gonna walk away, if they're gonna walk away now, then don't come listen when things start to flourish and things get better and brighter, don't come around then.
Hmm.
You know,
This is
you
what
know,
I say.
so
This is what I say. Because I'm so spiritual, I say, I'm practicing forgiveness because I don't want to block anything the universe has for me. And I forgive these people, but I don't want them dining at my table. Therefore, it's clear. I'm free of it. I can move on. I addressed
yeah,
it. I took my responsibility. I forgave myself and move on. I can't stay stuck because
yeah.
being stuck is going to send me back with resentment and send me back out there. And that's what a
Yeah,
lot of people
because
want. A lot of people want to see you fail sometimes, you know?
sadly, sadly,
Yeah,
that's a
and
reality.
that's like, yeah, I'm like,
And
where,
sometimes people just don't want they want you to do better. They just don't want you to do better than them.
right.
And that's a sad reality. But I did have a
Yes.
couple more questions. I did have a couple more questions for you, Sabitri. I was about to call you Sabitri again,
You know, you
but
can call me
Sabitri,
Sabs.
Sabs. Okay, Sabs. I did have a couple more questions for you. One, what type of information do you have for newcomers or anybody that's going through the issue, that's going through issues, that's struggling with the initial stages of their personal recovery process, and
Hmm.
um, what type of information do you have to have for that person right now? If you can remember
Okay,
back like to your first stages.
if we're going through crisis, first thing is the 911, it's not a bad option because they save you. They clear your head up a little bit and listen to them when they say, do you want to go into treatment? It's not your way anymore. It's somebody else's way. Follow the suggestions. At first, it is a little rough, but then we start feeling better. Our brain starts reconnecting. We start thinking clearer. And we have to keep our recovery individualized. But what worked for somebody else may not work for us. So we have to allow that variancy. But you have to have somebody you want to talk to. If NAA is not your avenue, there's so many others. It's not written in stone. But facing it and dealing with it one day at a time, sometimes you have to cut some things out of your life, take some pressure off of you, reorganize, change. You have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And that is no lie. When they say change people, places, and things, it's drastic. You know, you'll see friends that you had disappear, loved ones don't forgive you. When you start facing saying, oh, I'm sorry for what I. No, it's not that easy. It's like sometimes you get more hurt and you feel that
Mhm.
dagger even deeper. But don't give up. You're not alone. We are out there. We come from all different forms, all different backgrounds, all different educations. And when we're walking down the street, we don't know what each other has. But when we're in a room or we start opening up, we are so much alike and we form a family instantly. You know, it's like a herd of elephants. One gets hurt, what happens? The rest hold them up and keep going. And it's sad that some of us, statistics say, a lot of us are not going to make it more than five
Right.
years out from rehab. I have a funeral to go to this Thursday, as a matter of fact. A young gentleman got hit, you know? And they tell you to get a black dress because you're going to be going to a lot of funerals because we all don't make it. I have people in my family that have overdosed and died.
Hmm.
It's a realization. It's a realization. But you can come out of it. There is a way, there is hope. You have choices to make. It may seem difficult, but there is someone out there. Just pick up the phone. They are there to come get you, to hold you, to do what they have to, so you don't pick up, because that last pickup might be the end.
The end of it.
And you
Yeah.
don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You have so much to offer. I mean, everybody has a special gift and something to offer. That's why we're here. So if you can survive what you went through, tell your story. Grab onto somebody, and it'll make you heal as well. You know, even if you get criticized a little bit. And you'll see the growth that develops. It takes you to different avenues and pathways that you'd never believe. Doors open. Once you open your mouth, it just falls in your lap. I didn't think that I would be public speaking on recovery and stuff. I thought I would be doing something with medical conditions, chronic conditions and holistic health care and what I used to do. But that was a facade because the real me had to come out. And now the real me can sleep at night. I sleep very well at night now,
Mhm.
and I see the true ones that are around me that really love me. And we have such a good time. I consider
So,
you my brother after talking to you all this time.
so it's been a couple. Was it 2 weeks? 2 weeks since
Hmm.
we met. Yeah. That you mentioned about like just being able to sleep and being able to be comfortable and peaceful. Just being sober. Um, I know personally, I'm not afraid to say it. I love sleep.
Hmm.
I enjoy my sleep. Um, and it's like it's so much there's so much more even peaceful just when you wake up in the morning now because I don't have to put in the struggle up here in my brain of how I'm going to get this or how I'm going to do that or who I'm going to
Exactly.
get some money from today or what that whole crazy process is going to be. That's
Or
no
what did I
longer
say
it's
last
no
night? Who did I call?
It's no, I mean, yeah, stuff like that. It's no longer there. Not saying that it's not possible for it to be there again, be a part of my life
Right.
again. But not right now for this moment, it's not there. And just being able to say those type of things in front of people, I mean, to share, like when going to meetings or meeting people on the street, or just being able to be open and honest with anybody that I come in contact with, is a beautiful thing. Just being able to accept the fact that who I am and being honest with myself and being honest with other people around me, it makes so much more. It makes life so much better. There's
And you
no
find
you
your
don't have to.
character. Your character develops,
Exactly.
and you become something better than you ever were. You
Word.
do stuff and you're like, wow, did I do that? You have so much skill and talent. Us addicts and alcoholics, we're very talented and knowledgeable people. We're very
Because
creative.
we would have to be to go through the things we went through. We would have to be
Oh
creative and
yeah.
knowledgeable people to come up with some of the schemes
Hmm.
we had to come up with just to get what we wanted or needed.
Yeah.
You have to be
Hmm.
creative and knowledgeable. But yeah,
Yes.
um, so at the ending of this, I want to ask you also how if how would somebody what is your contact? How would people for people that are going to watch or people that are watching now that might be dealing with something or that they might feel comfortable with talking to you about? How would the people be able to contact you? Do you have
Actually, they can reach me at this phone number or they can email me. They can email me at Sabitri, Sabitri 276 at gmail.com. That's answered within 24 hours. And they can also call me 410-463-6127. That's 24/7. I always have my phone with me. So if they need direction and help to get into a recovery, I can make arrangements for the recovery to pick them up. If they're close by, I will be with them hand in hand, offer that continuum of care, get them into the hospital, help them with the paperwork. Because in a crisis mode, you don't know what to do. And that's the thing my family suffered with for years. When they go asking for help, it's so hard to get help, you know? But what I do, because I'm skilled and I know what to do, so I use those skills and my personal experience to hold that person's hand. I've sat in emergency rooms overnight with people rubbing their back, coming over here, picking them up, traveling, doing what I have to do, because that's my passion and that's what I love to do. Now that my husband is gone, I have the time to do that because I'm not going back into regular practice. And this is my joy. It's my pleasure. So nobody should ever hesitate to call me
to
or
help other
reach out
people?
to me.
Right.
I don't care what color you are, what background, how old you are, what you're going. And what we talk about is confidential, unless you're going to harm yourself or harm somebody else. Then we need to intervene and just get you safe, make you in a safe spot. Nobody wants to hurt you. We just want to love you. We want to love you through this process and give you that love and that hug you need and find you that safe haven. Because there's a lot of other issues that come along with addiction, with PTSD and trauma. I mean, we go through a lot and we can address them together. Don't try and do it by yourself. You know, we'll do it together.
And now when we say don't you just said don't do it, don't try to do it by yourself. Sometimes people, I know me, if somebody tells me don't try to do this on your own, don't try to do that, and my ego tells me I can do this, I can handle that no matter what it is. But
Hmm.
now I know why it's suggested not to try to do it by yourself. or do it on your own. But can you elaborate on that statement so people get a better
Yeah.
understanding?
When you try to do it by yourself, what happens? You just relapse. You end up in worse trouble. You break out in handcuffs. But when you reach out to somebody, they can walk you through the process. Because when you're going through it, your mind is not thinking straight. You're so cloudy. Remember that. You might think you're thinking right, but look at yourself in the mirror. You're not thinking right. And you want to get to a better balance of place. And it's okay to say, I'm not well. Don't try to keep saying you're well and you can do this. Because you're going to keep falling. You'll keep going on a hamster wheel. You'll stop for a moment, go back out, do the same thing. You get a little job, make a little bit of money, run out and use it. You
Hmm.
know, you pick up the wrong friends. And that's another thing. You have to watch who you're around because they'll get you high before you get them sober. So I have my boundaries. I mean, I'm stern, but I'm very loving. And I would do my best. My track record proves it. I get people help and do what I have to get them stable. Whether it's paperwork, getting done with Social Security, social services, to get them started to get stable and some help and not be alone. And the medications. But I wanted to touch on that real quick. A lot of people say they can't afford the medications. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. We go straight to the pharmaceutical company. We explain the situation and we get patient services. The medications are covered for a year and they renew it every year, or you get it at a very discount rate. I don't care which medication it is. And that's one thing I wanted to teach people doing that. Don't say you can't because together we can. And when my husband had cancer, I got everything covered through grants and everything. You know what I paid? I paid 78 cents for Tylenol one. Everything else was covered. So
That's
I'm
that's
not.
that's because you have the information, you have the resources, and that's what I
And I
wanted
want to share
to.
that. I want to share that with
Yeah.
people.
So with that being said, what is it that you actually do again?
Right now, I'm just doing public speaking and I'm just helping people along with the addiction, but I did integrative holistic healthcare.
Okay. Okay. All right. Which involves
It
I've
involves
never.
a medical aspect, therapy aspect, and it involves body work, Reiki, with medical massage and trained in 25 different modalities, um, aromatherapy, the candles. So we'll do the medication, but we combine the medication with some kind of holistic because to heal the body. We don't want a pill. Everything's not in a pill.
Yeah.
So and I don't believe that. So I kind of have to combine it. A session with me will probably last like 2.5 hours when I did work. And people will call me the healer because I would sit and listen and address the body as a whole, not just your mind. I mean, I analyze everything. So from the time I see you walk into that door, I'm analyzing you so I can help you. And I'm very good at what I do. I'm very confident in what I do. I know my stuff like the back of my hand. My degrees show it. My experience shows it.
Yeah. And life experiences, just life experiences. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And it's
because
not
you
being
if you
arrogant. It's
if
just
you've
it's
been
just I'm blessed with it.
that's not being arrogant. It's being confident and being straightforward about what you do. That's not being
Hmm.
arrogant. I think sometimes people take that. Sometimes people get that misconstrued. Being arrogant and
It
confident are
feels
two totally
so
different
great
things.
to have my daughters here, Miranda, say, Mom, we're proud of you. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Have my mother sleep at night. I'm wondering, is she arrested? Where is she? She hasn't called me. That
Yeah.
that feeling right there is worth everything in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing, man. Being able to accept being appreciated, accept being loved, accept the real person. Because I know personally,
Hmm.
I had issues with. I don't know if it'd be an issue. Yeah, it'd be an issue with compliments. I had issues with people compliment me. I had issues with expressing myself, about them. Just and like you said, just being able to accept the love and the compliments from your daughter and your family. I struggle with the same thing from my daughter. Like my right now, my relationship with my daughter is way more than I thought it was going to be in this short period of time. So I'm just looking forward to it and imagining how it's going to be um, if I stay on course. If I stay
Yes.
on the course and stay on my journey, how much things are going to grow and how much things are going to get better, not just with my daughter, but just in life in general, with people around me. And within myself, just being more confident and put myself out there more and being more
Yes.
being more vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
You know, and like doing this is this. I never thought I'd be doing something like this. Not to take away from what you have, from the topic, but I never thought I'd be doing something like this. Because like I said, I just started this October. I just started this platform in October, and I was 50
Well,
years
I
old.
tell you, you're
Just
magnificent.
turned.
You're very intelligent. You're a hit. I look forward to it. I've listened to your podcast. Holly and them had a great time on there. It's a ball being with you. It's so comfortable, and you're
Well,
helping so many people. You're reaching so many.
I like doing what I'm doing, and because like the topic again, going back to the topic again, sober vulnerability. This is a big thing for me. Just being able to put my best foot forward and make the attempt to try to reach somebody else, because people do it
Right.
for me.
Yep. And when you become sober and vulnerable, you're opening yourself up for people to, they can harm you, they can praise you. You're an open wound. So you're taking it all in. And it's like you create, you redevelop, you design, you come back shining, and people are like, whoa, who's that? I want to hang around that person. Oh, they look good. Oh, you used to drink? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. You don't have wrinkles. Oh my gosh. And like, yeah, that was me.
I don't know, but you might not have the wrinkles, but I got some wrinkles. But but that's all for. I just wanted to get that part out. But that's going to end tonight's episode. Sabitri, Sabs. So
Yes.
is there anything else you want to add on before we do finally close out the episode?
I just want to reiterate that people are not alone. And if you just need someone to talk to or direction of where to go, reach out to me. Again, that number is 410-463-6127. Anytime day or night, you can shoot me a text, or you can email me at Sabitri, SABITRI276 And I look forward to hearing from some of you guys, and any way I can help, I'm willing. Thanks for having me, Derek. It was
Yes,
such a
ma'am.
blessing. I know we'll be doing some fun things this year. Summer's coming.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Mhm.
I'm trying to collaborate with some other people and make some things happen. So maybe you'll be included. But
Yes.
thank you for being on the episode for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining the podcast. Thank you for everybody that subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to go and check out this episode on YouTube. Like, share, and comment on the episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to Life Chat Podcast. Thank you all. Be blessed. Have a great night.
Welcome to the Life Chat Podcast, seeking the truth with Derek Powell, navigating you through. Every Wednesday night, new topics ignite. Join the journey, let's take flight. Bringing insights that change our view. Derek's voice, clear and true. Tune in each week, discover new light. Life Chat Podcast, reach a new height.